and welcome back to Lycan Studios. Hopefully you guys are having a fantastic day. I do apologize. I know I have uploaded the last 2 days. I was on such a roll, but you guys know my daughter ended up being sick, and it kind of just threw everything off. I wasn't even able to sleep very well. I was rolling into work kind of late, and then, you know, having to stay super late. So yeah, my last couple days have just been thrown off, but I do have the weekend off, then I work Monday, and then I have 4 days off. So expect a video every single day. But yeah, we're jumping back into the plot leak. We have episode 4, and I also want to say that they are officially releasing the air date for season 8 on Sunday. I absolutely cannot wait. What is your guys' guess? I'm thinking the 14th of April. What do you guys think? But yeah, real quick, I do want to say shout out to Kelly Gant for this episode. She's been here for a super long time, always supporting, always leaving comments, always hitting that thumbs up button. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much for your support. Make sure to leave her a comment saying, Kelly, you are awesome. And last but not least, make sure to smash that thumbs up button if you do enjoy the video. Make sure to leave a comment and make sure to answer the question of the video. I also do want to say to check the Patreon if you're into exclusives, and make sure to follow all the other social medias. But all right, let's jump into episode number 4. Lila did just hop up on my lap, so if you hear her talking, yeah, that's what that is. She's starting to feel a lot better, by the way. Thank you guys so much for all the good vibes and all the love you guys have sent. It's so amazing. All right, so episode 4 starts in Winterfell. It's showing the army of the dead inside the castle walls. They look like they have 2 giants pushing over the weirwood tree. The Night King then goes down to the crypts, which is very, very interesting. It shows him actually remembering the children of the forest, plunging the dragon glass into his chest. Which right there, that gets pretty weird. I'm not too sure how they're going to portray the Night King. If he really has like fillings and stuff like that, that would be super interesting. But apparently he knows exactly where he is going in the crypts. He looks down a tunnel that is freshly lit with candles. He knows that people have escaped, and he knows where they are going next. So in the next scene, we see Davos, Tyrion, Sansa, Bran, Sam, Gilly, and Little Sam, Missandei, and several others exiting through the tunnel. It says the tunnels led them to the White Knife River. They already had a few small boats stashed, which, you know, that's good planning if they do decide to use escape tunnels, which I don't really know about. We did know that the Maester told Theon that the tunnels were there. However, I'm not too sure if anybody else knows where they're at. But yeah, basically those small boats will take them to Dany's fleet. It is kind of weird that it says the map says to wait at the harbor until they regroup. The map says that. I'm pretty sure they would have just told each other what to do. I'm pretty sure they would have went over the backup plan. So yeah, that's kind of weird. So then of course they're moving Bran into the boat and they notice he is not fully conscious. He is in a vision. Rhaegar. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think Rhaegar's in this one, but you guys did find that pretty funny, and I was super sleepy when I did that. I need to get into just being funny, being myself, so I'm glad you guys did enjoy that. So Sam's basically taking care of him. Davos and Sam have to unlock his grip from the chair to get him into the boat. I don't know why I kept saying boar. It says boar on the screen, but I promise I meant boat. Dany, Jon, Jaime, Beric, the Hound, Brienne, Arya, Gendry, and a few others land at White Harbor. That's a lot of people on one dragon. But hey, it could happen. We do have Dany acknowledging that Rhaegal has been hit by an ice spear and that she's worried about him, and also that Jon wants to go upriver to see who survived. Jaime says he'll go with him, and yeah, more cheesy dialogue. And they are acknowledging that Winterfell has fallen. And then we kind of end it with more cheesy dialogue talking about how they need Cersei's help. So then we switch over to Theon and his men preparing to head to King's Landing. Now that they have the cover of the night, they know that the Iron Fleet will be docked in the bay. They want to slip in and free Yara before anyone else is alerted, so they are going on a stealth mission. Ah, Varys is back. So they're getting ready to head out, and all of a sudden, the spider Varys is back. He's a merman. He swam to the boat. There are no other boats in sight, and he is completely dry. What I say, he's a merman. They have no idea how he arrived at Dragonstone. When Theon asks why he's there, all he says is, I'm coming with you. So then we switch over to King's Landing. We have Qyburn meeting with Cersei and Euron to tell them about recent reports they have been receiving. Basically, that Dany's fleet is at White Harbor and all that good stuff. She's abandoned Dragonstone. She's making sweet love to Jon on the boat. Sansa's mad. Cersei then ends up commanding Euron to take some wildfire to White Harbor and burn all of their ships. Euron says, I'll do it tomorrow. So then we switch back over to, I guess, the boats near the river, and it says that Bran awakes from his visions. Sam is sitting next to him and asks if everything is okay. Are you okay, Bran? His hands are starting to callous from his grip on his chair. I'm not too sure if they're really going to show that. And as in, I'm not too sure, I fucking know. But this is a plot leak, so we better keep going. Bran is fine. He just doesn't understand his visions this time. Has he really always understood them? Bran says he sees Little Sam. This is where this plot leak starts getting super, super far out. He was crying and surrounded by fire. Everyone on the boat looks concerned by the tone of Bran's voice. What, monotone like usual? Gilly wraps her arms tightly around her son as Davos tells her not to worry. It will be okay. I kind of wanted to say that Davos's record with protecting children is not the greatest, but I don't really want to say that. Poor Davos. And we have the cheesiest dialogue. He looks back at Gilly and says, "Does your son like dragons?" Does your son like dragons? I don't even know what to say, but have you guys ever heard that silly thing where you're like, do you like dragons? And they're like, yeah. And be like, good, because I'm about to be dragging on your face. Oh man, fun times, high school. Gilly doesn't even want to look at them, but then a dragon appears. Cheesy. It's got a big hole in its right wing. Rhaegal seems to be following them downriver. Then we switch back over to Dany, Jon, and Jaime preparing to leave at dawn so they can find the rest of the survivors. Jon tells Beric and the Hound to find some food and to make sure everyone gets rest and food. This may be the last chance they have to fully rest up. And then the Hound walks over to Arya and Brienne as they're dressing her leg and says, "I hope you're not asking her for mercy. She won't give it to you. I'm sure you will have your foot in someone's ass in no time." Oh my God. But then they're getting ready to take off and Jon tells Arya that if they are not back by sundown, you guys need to head towards Dragonstone. He's just telling her that they got to go find everyone, and then they hug. He climbs on Drogon as they descend upriver. Switching back over to King's Landing, we have Euron and Cersei lying in bed together. They just did the deed. Cersei's asleep, but Euron begins to wake up. He rolls over and looks at Cersei and begins to run his finger across her lips. He moves his hand further and further down until it's under the blankets. He puts his hand between Cersei's thighs and can feel a wetness on his fingertips. And it's not because she's turned on, it's blood. Covered in blood. He rips the blankets off of Cersei and can see that most of the bed is covered in blood. No, I'm just joking. Most of the bed is covered in blood. Cersei wakes up, the cold air hits her naked body. She can see Euron staring at her with a strange look on his face. She begins crying and screaming. The Mountain comes into the room. Euron puts his hands up, but the Mountain walks past him. He wraps up Cersei and carries her out of the room. Euron's got a twisted smile on his face. So he's got that evil smile on his face, but someone comes up to him and says, "There's something you gotta see." He walks outside and, yeah, all of his boats are gone. All of his ships are gone, leaving only the Silence. So yeah, he quickly boards the Silence. There are several men on deck with their throats slit. When he enters the main cabin, he can see that Yara is gone. There is a dagger stuck in the wall with a note pinned under it. The note only reads, "What is dead may never die." Ah, man. This is terrible. George is crying right now. He's crying. He pulls the dagger out of the wall and turns to the Lannister guards. Then he decides to kill the Lannister guards. Then he decides to walk back towards the city. Well, he probably needs to swim a little bit first because he's probably on a ship in the water. And just wait, now he's going back to find the Golden Company, and the Golden Company is gone. Euron is furious. He orders the captain to bring him every man that was on the watch last night. They will all be killed. So then we have Theon grabbing some more dragonglass out of the caves so they can leave and head north. Now he has an entire fleet with over 20,000 men. They gotta arm them all with dragonglass. When Theon exits the cave, he walks over to Yara, who was on the beach. He starts to cry, because that's what he does. She's covered in bruises and beaten, and her tongue is gone. So they hug it out a little bit, and then we have Varys and the commander of the Golden Company standing on the beach. The commander shakes Varys' hand and says, "It's good to see you again, old friend." Varys doesn't have friends. He says, "Illyrio told us that you would come for us, but we weren't sure if you were still alive." See, they can't be bringing Illyrio back into this fold. He's been gone for so long. I realize in the books that he's way more important, but in the show, they've just left Illyrio out. His name will not be mentioned again. This I can tell you. So they're just talking it up and stuff, and then they spot several ships approaching the beach. All the men on the beach begin to scramble for their weapons and posts. It takes a few moments for Varys to realize, but it's Melisandre. Melisandre and Kinvara have arrived. Fast forwards a little bit, they're walking on the beach and begin to approach Varys. They got some glowing red rubies on their throats. "Hello, dear spider." Kinvara places a hand on Varys and says, "Do we still serve the same queen?" Varys says yes, or he nods. Then they say, "You are all coming with us. It's time to play our final part in this war. Darkness has taken Winterfell. The king and queen will be back at White Harbor soon, but that isn't where we are going. Varys, you must ride with us. Tell your men it's time to leave." Switching over back to Dany, Jon, and Jaime, we have them in the sky above the river. They spot Rhaegal. There are a few small boats below them. They have found the survivors. I don't feel like Rhaegal is just going to go hang out with them all of a sudden, to be honest, especially if he's wounded. But yeah, they have found each other. Jon embraces all of them, and they begin to load everyone onto the dragons to fly back to White Harbor to the others. So then switching back over, we have Arya and Gendry telling everyone to prepare to leave. It is cool that we do have an Arya and Gendry moment. It's starting to get dark outside. And then Jon said if they weren't back by sundown to head towards Dragonstone. Beric stands up and says that they are here. Both dragons come out from behind them as they land. More embracing, Arya actually thanks Jaime for his help, and they shake hands. Shaking hands just doesn't seem like an Arya thing to do, to be honest. Bran wants to speak in private, but yeah, Jon says no. Tell me and tell everyone. I must have been super sleepy when I originally typed this up a couple months ago because I have some major typos. But anyways, we're gonna read this because it's important. Bran says, "Jon, you're not who you think you are. There's a great power in you that you never knew you had. I'm sure you've always felt it. Why do you think you rose from the dead? Why do you think you were the one who found the direwolves? Why do you think father never told you about your mother? Jon, you have the blood of ice and fire. Jon, you are the Song of Ice and Fire. The three-eyed raven showed me your birth. It wasn't so I could just see who your parents were. It was because you are the one who will bring the dawn. Every time I look for answers and how to defeat the Night King, I see images that point to you. Ned Stark is not your father. You are the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. You are the one who is destined to defeat the Night King, but we have to act fast. These revelations shock everyone who is listening, and they're all staring at Jon. Yeah, I hope that's not how it goes down. That's terrible. That is honestly super terrible. I don't like it one bit. Bran's not going to talk like that. That sounded like a video game, a silly video game. That sounds like the beginning of a video game before you go out on a quest. Cheesy. Cheesy, cheesy. Poor George. So then we have Sam pretty much just reinforcing that, yeah, it did happen. Bran says, you have never been a bastard, Jon. You are the legitimate heir to the throne. You are Aegon Targaryen. Dany starts to cry. She places her hand on her stomach. Sansa and Arya at a loss of words. Bran says, I know all this may be hard to grasp right now, but we must leave. Yeah, Bran's not going to act like this. But yes, you know the truth. All of you know the truth. Do you guys think that Robert would have really killed him? That's super interesting. Super interesting. What would Robert have done knowing that Lyanna really wanted Rhaegar and vice versa, and it wasn't a kidnapping or a raping? But yeah, then basically Bran just is super cheesy. He says that basically I know how to kill him, and you will kill him, Jon, talking about the Night King, but not here. It's time to go. That's so stupid. They're not gonna allow us to know that people know how to defeat the Night King without showing us or telling us. Like, I don't know, that's just so stupid. So now they're talking about going to the Trident, and they're flying instead of sailing. He does say that the lady in red will be there talking about Melisandre, and then basically we have a moment showing that Jon is now a dragon rider. So all of a sudden he's a Targaryen and a dragon rider. Very convenient. I do think he will ride a dragon, but definitely not in this sequence. And now Dany is saying, I should have known something was up with the way Drogon acts towards you. You bonded immediately. Cheese. Cheese, cheddar, parmesan, all of it. It's all cheesy. It must be you who mounts Rhaegal. I do agree with that, though. I think he will mount Rhaegal. It makes sense. But yeah, they decide to head towards the Trident. So then we have Euron entering Qyburn's lab room. He had been examining Cersei after she had her miscarriage. She lost a significant amount of blood. Qyburn has her sedated with one of his potions. Euron tells Cersei about his fleet and how they have gone along with the Golden Company. He says they have no reason to stay in the city. Cersei does not have enough men to hold it. He's taking the silence and leaving. Cersei says, wait! She sits up and says, I thought you said you were a king. You promised you would never abandon me, and now you want to leave because we have lost a few men and a few ships. We haven't lost yet. I still have something they don't. Dany said that the army of the dead is 100,000 strong. Have patience. The dead will crush our enemies for us. Dany has already lost one dragon. She will lose the rest. King's Landing is well protected. No one will ever enter through the gates. You know, because they haven't done that before. If they do, there will not be a city left to rule. The plans have already been set in motion. We will burn them all. So yeah, Cersei's acting like a fool right now. I don't see it happening. Cersei is more composed than this. Yeah, pretty much they just have Cersei acting super uncomposed right now. I do not see that happening. Maybe right before her death, she starts acting a little bit crazy, but yeah, she will never be this uncomposed, I do not think. Even after a miscarriage. Cersei is just too damn good. And also they're making it sound like Cersei is desperate for Euron. Yeah, I don't think so. I think she needs him and is going to use him, but I don't think she'll ever come across as desperate like she does now. But yeah, she says, how about I make you a true king and together we can watch our enemies burn alive. Yeah, I just don't see it going this way at all. I think this is the episode where, yeah, this just tells you that this is complete fan fiction. I mean, it's 100% fan fiction anyways. There's no way somebody just seen the scripts. They're locked on iPads with revolving passwords and stuff. It's just silly. However, of course, it is fun to talk about. You guys know that, but I just will never ever say that this is true. Some things may happen just because we've kind of deduced what could happen, but yeah, this is wrong. This is not a plot leak. To be continued.